Today we're going to talk about our straps here. We'll go over a couple of things with like chains and binders also. Here's the part on binders, and it is personal preference, I believe. I mean, everybody's getting more and more used to these ratcheting kinds, which I talked about already, how we use them. We also have the old school lever binder, which is basically, I've already got the other side loose just so for the video I could do this by hand. But that's how you tighten it to get on. Now, you usually need a leverage bar. I don't suggest using a piece of pipe, but I had to use a piece of pipe because that's what was on this trailer. But they do make a special bar that will hook over this top and allow you to have that when you get in a bind it down, so that when it were to come loose and you had the bar on it, you don't take the bar and fling it across the load. I've seen that happen. That's why I don't like a piece of pipe, because a piece of pipe's here and you're trying to get things out and it gets away from you, flings, and it's, what do you call those? The baton girls in the bands? Yeah, it's like a baton going off and no one out there watching for it. And it slips in easy. Those other ones, they fit over this ball here. And I wish I had one to show you, but I'll probably get a clip of one and put it in the video here so you can see what it looks like. But if you're going to use these, I highly recommend that. It's very important that the links are straight when you use these types, because if they're not, if you've got a twist, when you hook it up, that binder bar will turn one way or the other, depending on the twist. And see how it rolled over to this side? A lot of times, if you're close to something and it rolls under, sometimes you get it where now you can't get that. If this tire were right up against that, I wouldn't be able to get this loose because it rolled under there. If I get these all straight and I pull that down, it stays right there. It doesn't move away. But these, yes, can they come up and slap people and get arms and bases and stuff? Sure. That's why people don't like them. They have a hard time getting them tight. I actually have more loads come loose with these than I do these when they're used properly and chains are straight. I am been told through the grapevine that CHP is actually pulling people over if they're still using these types of binders, because they know most people aren't using them correctly. And so these are becoming the bigger norm. So, you know, they're handy because you need no other bar, you know, and that, I mean, is a legitimate reason, you know, to have these. But I was raised on using those hauling equipment. I just got used to it. It's not that these don't work. It's just getting used to these and, you know, coming to depend on them. If you check your loads all the time, either one works, because either one of them can come loose. Either one of them can cause you a problem on the road, a safety concern. That's why we always use the 4 points of attachment. So each one of these trailers is not touching itself, and every corner has its own pull. So on the back, I got one here on that side, one on that side, same thing in the front. So I don't go over things with one chain and binder. I don't loop it through and try to get one tension point, because if one comes loose, the other one's tight, your load's still on your trailer. If you lose both of them, it would be odd for you to lose both. But if you only have one binder, work on one chain, you lose it, well, now you got nothing holding it. It rolls. The ones in the front are designed to be pulling the opposite way. You just rolled that way. You know, your load's going to be in somebody's windshield. Nobody's going to be happy with you. I know people comment on what their preferences are and what they feel the advantages are, and that's good. But, you know, it is, again, kind of personal preference. They both can work. They both are safe when used correctly. and, you know, a load won't move. But that's why we have all kinds of different ways of securing things. Here's an example I've set up where I don't like to set my hooks. And because, look at that. That is barely hanging on there. And so it started out like this, but later ends up like this. And so as the load wiggles, like these panels, as they're vibrating a little bit, things get a little bit loose and it starts falling down. And that's what you end up with. And it's not far before I have nothing holding my strap here. The other one is more secure, but you're putting a lot of force that way on it. That's why I always drop them through like I did the other strap with the black hooks. And I always drop them through and wrap around and hook back to it. Again, personal preference. I will probably have people get on here on all the ways I had this tied down and tell me everything I did wrong. But I'd like to just point out 1,500 miles and nothing moved. Here's the ratchet side of that. And you'll see I come over the same way and put that when they're the wide hardware straps. Again, you'll see I have my half twist all the time in my straps. This is the other kind of strap, and it does not have the same type of hardware at the end. It has a big flat strap. This is the way I like to do it, and I like to put it right on this because I'm not looking to bend that. It's also where it's the thickest, so it'll hold up. So I'm just grabbing the underside of that frame rail, and I'll show you the other side also. Everybody has a little bit of a different way of doing things, and we'll always get comments on how things are done. But this is how I like to do my straps. I've got the strap wrapped around, and I don't have it over the top of the hook where the hook will push in. But it's secure. If it does come loose, that strap's not really falling down anywhere. You know, if it were to come loose, it very easily fits through there. So I can just drop it down. I like that better than just doing that. That to me looks secure and clean, but if this strap came a little bit loose, now the whole thing's loose. The other way, at least, is you're still kind of wrapping around your load a little bit. The other thing I do is I put a half twist in it. I never like my strap to be perfectly straight like that. It flaps in the wind. If you put a half a twist, not a full twist, but a half a twist just like that, that'll never flap in the wind. And you can say, oh, mine, I just get really tight and they'll do it. That might work occasionally on some. Most of the time, you're going to have at least one or two straps flapping in the wind. It's physics. We're going to go over, we got the straps here. We got some other chains and binders. We're going to look at it all here today. But everybody's got their own way of doing things that's not necessarily wrong. It's the principle. Like, I don't want the excess strap here, once I'm using one of these style tie downs, to ever have a chance of getting dragged on the road, get tangled up in tires, or be a problem for me. So I've followed kind of this rule of getting these things going, and it's tied down here. This thing went the whole trip, never came loose. It's very easy for me to slide it up to get out of the way if I need to tighten up a little bit more. And then once it is, I lock it back down, tie that in. So same way, if I need to loosen it, I can go up all the way. And this is going to push down when I force this up. And now it's loose. So I can just pull it back there. But if I wanted to tighten this up, sorry, tighten this up, lock it, send that down. So to loosen it, I'm just gonna, it's these strands on this side that I will push up and kind of take this collar and move that collar down, starts making it loose. Now I can pull the tail out, unwrap it, it falls away. Very easy that way. How I did this, so what I do is I take the tail and I put it in a small circle, so I'll hold that around there, about like that, and it's very easy to just take your both hands and move them inside there and come up here, and then you're getting to this point, and I'm gonna pull it out here on the right side just because I'm right-handed, and pull about 1.5 out of the inside, and I'm wrapping it around twice and then tucking it through. It doesn't matter which way you tuck it through, if it's right to left like I'm doing, or if you're doing left to right like I had it before. But you're basically, you're pulling it in, then you're taking these outside strands here, and see how they pull tight here, right over your tail. And so that way you're locking that thing in there, and that tail's not gonna come out. It's very secure there for the load. Again, very easy to slide up, slide down, so you can get to your handle. Hope that helps. We're gonna go over some of the fastening devices I have on this trailer. We're gonna start over here with the straps. You can see I have my strap here. Here's excess here, and it's all kind of secured. I can move it up out of the way in case I need to tighten it or loosen it, and the tail's not going anywhere. It went like this. Did this flap around on the load? Yes. Did that hurt a thing? No. You don't have to worry about that, but it's nice to be able to slide it up and down. The way I secure these is I've got the tail through, and so I just unwrap it, and now it's like the whole thing's gone. So the way I set that up, I'll take it and start rolling it into a smaller circle, about like that. That way it's easy to just roll up like this. And then when you get here, that's where you want to do it. So see the tail is inside here. I'm going to pull it out, and I can pull about 1.5 times out, but because basically I want to be able to go around this twice. So I'm going around once and a second time, and then I'll take that tail and stick it through at center here, and I'm going to pull just the outside part, just this part here, to cinch it on. So now that tail's kind of locked in there, and I can slide that down, I can slide it up. And like I say, when it's up, it's tight here. So if I want to tighten it up more, I can do it. I can slide that back up. But that's a very secure way to keep all this extra strap secured, so it doesn't flap down your loads and get caught up in your tires.